morning this morning. My name is Rochelle Hunter Mosley, and this is another episode of Beauty, Business, and Banking. And today I have Talia Kareem. Talia Kareem has been in my life for, I know, almost,
23 years
20
and
some
counting.
years. So I don't want to mess up her title. I don't want to mess up what she does. So I'm going to have her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Talia Kareem. I am broker and owner of TK Real Estate Group.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So my thing today, right? I've been a owner 2 or 3 times
Yep.
of different homes, right? And I short sold, and then I sold regular.
Regularly,
I was, it was a lot going on. I took out a lot of what is it called when you take the money
Equity
out?
out, equity.
Took too much equity out.
And short sales are really tough as well. So
This is my home that I had in Virginia. I bought the home for $40,000, and I took too much equity out of it because I was building a home upstate New York, and I didn't realize I took out too much money that I couldn't pay the mortgage.
You were overextended.
I was overextended.
So is that the house that you short sold?
No, the house I short sold was in Virginia, was upstate.
Okay.
But I took the equity out to buy that house.
Got it.
And then there's just a whole bunch of stuff. We could talk about that stuff later. But the thing that I wanted to tackle first is, I know that you said that it is okay to refer people to you. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when I'm referring a young person to you, I'm just gonna set this up.
Okay.
Right? So I will refer someone to you. It's going to be Rochelle. I'm like, Talia, I'm going to refer Rochelle. She's 20-some years old. She's never bought before. And I want to see if you can help her out.
Okay.
So I'm going to be her, 20-some year old, and you're going to be the real estate person.
Okay.
And I need you to be completely honest because
yeah.
people need to be prepared
Preparation is key.
and not getting your feelings hurt because you're wearing your feelings on your sleeve and you think you got everything together.
Yes.
So when I send you to Talia is going to be that person that's going to tell you exactly what you need and what you need to do, just so you can know that you don't have everything together and where you need to go and how you need to be.
And how we find this out is during a consultation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to be the 20-year-old me,
Okay.
and then you're going to be the real estate person that I introduced the 20-year-old me to buy this home.
Okay.
Hi, Talia. My name is Rochelle, and Tanya told me to come over and that you could help me buy a house, girl. I got all my stuff together. I got everything I need. So she told me to come and see you. Can you help me?
Hi, Rochelle. Absolutely, I can help you. My first question would be, have you been pre-approved just yet?
What's that?
Pre-approved is when you've gone to a lender or a bank and you've given them your financial information and they've run your credit and they basically are going to see what amount of loan you would qualify for.
No.
You have not done that yet.
But I got money though. So it's cool. I got money.
Okay, but here's what we need. As a lender, they're going to be looking for your income to be documented. So we first need to have you been working for at least 2 years?
Yes, I've been working since I was like 9 years old.
Okay, do you have pay stubs?
No, I work for myself. I just do hair at home and stuff.
Okay, so here's the thing. Lenders are looking at non-traditional income, which is people that work for themselves, self-employed people, as risky buyers. And what we need documented income and consistent income. So if you've been working for yourself, that's fine.
Hold on.
Okay.
Like, so when you say documented, you mean like, what you mean?
I mean, do you have invoices? Do you have bank statements?
No, people pay me cash.
And does this cash go into your bank account?
No, I put it under my mattress, like, cause look, no, let me explain.
Okay.
So what my mama told me to do,
Okay.
she told me to make sure I have $100 stacks, right?
Okay.
So I have $100 stacks. I got a lot of them, like under my mattress. So when I was ready, I was gonna purchase my home with my stacks how my mama told me to save my money.
Okay, so I'm not sure that your mother gave you the incorrect information.
Okay.
Lenders are looking for documented income. So if you've been working, we need that income documented. We cannot use cash unless you want to buy the house completely in cash.
But everybody said cash is king.
Cash is not king. Credit is king.
Credit?
Yes, credit is king, unfortunately. Yeah.
I never checked my credit before. I said I'm only like 25, so I never really checked my credit before.
So here's what I would do with you. First, we're going to need to check your credit. We need to run your credit and see where you are. If you've never checked your credit before, I'm not sure. Do you have credit cards?
No, I just play cash for everything. I never had a credit card before my whole life.
So your credit is you probably don't have strong credit history. So
But how you not have strong credit history if you never used it before?
Because
That don't even make no sense.
Your credit history is going to be based on loans, make possible car loans, credit loans, home purchases that you may have had. We know you haven't purchased a home yet.
Hold on. When I said I never had a credit card, I meant like American Express, Discover, stuff like that.
Yes.
But I shop at Bloomingdale's, Saks.
But you spend cash when you shop at these places.
No, I have those cards. I didn't know you meant like credit cards like that.
Oh, okay.
So I got those. I got like 13 of them. Yeah, I had like 13 different cards up and down the East Coast. I got about 13.
13 cards. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what we need to do. We need to get a good profile of where you are credit-wise, right?
Okay.
So that's where we need to start. As far as income, it definitely needs to be documented unless you plan on purchasing your home completely in cash.
Okay.
So this is it depends on what market we're going to be looking in. You need to have documented income in order to get a loan from the bank, from a lender. For a mortgage, okay?
So in order for me to have documented income, I have to put the money in a bank.
In the bank. So here's...
Like all of it?
All of it. So here's what I would do. You're young still.
You trust your money in the bank?
Absolutely. We have to do it that way these days. This is the only way. Unless you want to go get a job and let them document the income for you.
A job?
Yeah.
Miss Talia, I ain't never.
Listen, you're young. There's no rush, right? I would want to make sure you're set up properly. Okay. So I would want to guide you. My first thing was we need to look at your credit profile. Okay. Then we can get you to the right place. Maybe you need credit repair. Maybe you just need a couple things that need to be added. Maybe you need to pay a few things off. We won't know until we look at your credit history. But we also need to understand that you have to. Moving forward towards your purchase, we need to have that income documented, which means I'd imagine you've never done taxes before.
Taxes?
Yeah. So yeah.
I pay tax on the stove.
Yeah, no.
I never pay. You mean tax on the money that the people?
Yeah.
No, I've never paid taxes before.
So we're gonna need to get you all organized.
But how much taxes they gonna take though?
It's gonna be dependent on your classification. Are you incorporated?
No.
Okay, so it's going to be dependent on your classification.
I got to be incorporated?
You don't have to be. You can be an individual sole proprietor. You don't have to be incorporated, but your tax rate is going to be based on your classification.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I would definitely want to get you set up. You're still young. Like I said, there's no rush. We want to do it strategically, and we want to be organized in the way we do it so we can get you the best loan package and the best situation that works for yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what's like a good credit score? I know you said something about credit.
Now it all depends. You can as a first time home buyer, you can purchase a home with a 580 credit score. Oh. Now the only thing is I don't recommend when I
talk 580 high. That's the highest.
No, that's considered poor.
Oh. Yeah. So what's like
high credit score is about 680 and higher.
Okay, up to 850.
Yes,
okay.
If 680 is considered good.
So if you're supposed to be so good, why are you telling me 5-something is good?
No. 580, you can purchase a home with a 580 credit score.
Oh.
But your interest rate will be significantly higher.
Oh.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at a higher, you're going to be required to put down more money. You're going to be required to have what you're going to have to do to purchase the home is going to require more, right? The higher your credit score, the better interest rate you have, the better, the lower down payment you can have. Mm-hmm. So I never recommend my clients to be okay with having a 580 credit score.
Okay.
What I want them to do is to work on having healthy credit, because that is what gets you the best loan package.
Okay.
Right? So if you're purchasing a home with a 580 credit score, you're going to be looking at it's going to be intensive. You're going to be looking at high down payment, high interest rate. So it's going to essentially cost you more to purchase that home than it would the 650 buyer.
Okay.
Okay, so since you're young, we have time. We have time to put you in a right position, and that's what I would want to focus on. I am an advocate of healthy credit. That is what I'm an advocate of, and I prefer that. Not to just say, "Oh, I have 580. I can buy it. I can buy a home with 580." So that's where I would want to start with you, especially because you're young. If you were older, we'd be talking about a little bit different situation, and depending on your living situation, that can change. So.
Right.
That's what I would want. I want to get you organized. I want to get you set up so we can have a good process and and make this as affordable as possible for you.
Okay. Okay, Miss Talia, I think I understand.
Okay.
So from here now until I meet you again,
Uh-huh.
what do I need to do? What do I need to get
Okay. So
rolling?
your clients, how they pay you is very important. I need that money to go in the bank. Now we
All
have
of it.
all of it. Everybody. Anything that's income.
Okay.
Not what your
Like when they
boyfriend may
pay
give
me and
you.
stuff. Oh, so what he give
What
me,
your
I can
boyfriend
just
give
put.
you, you
Don't
can
worry
keep putting that
about.
under the
Okay.
mattress.
Okay.
Keep putting that under the mattress, girl.
Okay.
Okay? But
Okay.
the income, what's considered income, your
Okay.
clients that you are taking, they need to be paying you. It needs to be going in the bank.
Okay.
We have electronic payments now.
Okay.
You can do Zelle, you can have Cash App, as long as it's going in your bank and it can be documented. And consistent is very important.
Okay. Thanks for telling me that because nobody never really told me.
Oh yeah,
None of this.
under the mattress. That's for pre-80s, girl. Yeah,
Oh,
we're not there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, we need
Okay.
documented income.
Okay, so I got to document my income.
Yes.
And then.
So have your income documented.
Okay.
And then we need to work. We need to run your credit because I'm not sure where your credit stands because you said you do have store cards.
By the time I come back, then I'll have that.
Yes, we'll run you. And then when I look at your credit history, then I can guide you further. I'll let you know if you need a credit repair.
Okay.
And that person will guide you in terms of what you need to do to get your credit healthy.
Okay, so document my income. Then
Pull your credit.
pull my credit.
Yes, so we can see where you stand.
Okay. And then is that enough for you to help me, Mr.
Yes,
Leah?
that's enough for you to help. Me to help you.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna do this and I'll see you like 30 days. Can I see you? In 30
Well,
days?
because you've
see you?
never documented your income,
Okay.
so listen, lenders are looking for 2 years of consistent income.
Okay.
So we really need to get you in a place where you have as much documented income as possible.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's also other options. We can get you a co-buyer.
Okay. You mean like what's the co-buyer?
So someone that can go on the application with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
my mama not gonna sign for nothing.
Okay, and
my
if you-
boyfriend, you already know what time it is with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So no,
All right.
I don't
All
really
right.
have nobody. So I'm gonna have to really figure out how I'm gonna.
So no, we have to do this all on you.
And I'm
All right.
married.
That's fine. So you just have to understand that you have to be patient. Okay? That's the most important process. Be patient.
My aunt used to sing that song. You gotta be patient, little sister. My aunt used to sing that to me all the time. That's so
Well,
funny.
she was right in singing that to you because it's most important. We don't want to rush into anything.
Yeah.
Because when you rush into something, what happens?
Right.
Right? So we want to be properly prepared. Right. So what I would say is we need to really prepare you for 1 year can work in some cases, but we need to start documenting that income now, immediately. Okay. So invoice your clients, have them pay you. However, you can invoice them, have them pay you electronically. That's the best thing because your invoice also shows a paper trail, right?
Right.
So it's best to, and now all of these, electronic applications, you can actually send an invoice to as a request to your client.
Oh, and then that way the money go right into.
And then they get the request, and then they make the payment. But that request can show up as an invoice. We can use that as an invoice. So as much that's the name of the game for someone self-employed. As much documentation as possible, right?
So, Mr. Leah, do you think I have a chance? Because I watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta, right?
Okay.
And their houses look so beautiful. Their cars look so beautiful. So I don't have a house. I don't have a car.
Everyone has a chance. Everyone has a chance.
You
Everyone
for
can
real?
become a
You
home.
really think I
Absolutely.
could?
If you trust the process and you follow the process.
Okay.
Okay? Most importantly, organizing yourself.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Tell what's her name? Talia. Tell Talia I said thank you.
But that was a cool conversation, especially like with the young girl.
Because that's just how they be talking.
That's
But because my mama told, that's just how they talk.
That's how they talk.
That's just how they
That's
talk. Because my
exactly how
mama
they
said, really? I never heard that you got to do. Well, so-and-so over there said.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I felt like that was a perfect conversation for a 20-some-year-old starting out that think they got it all together and they don't have it all together. And they meet somebody like Miss Talia that's telling them all these things and they're totally oblivious to what they need.
I have gotten clients that said, oh, but I have money though. That is literally a real thing.
I have money.
Oh, but I have cash.
Yeah.
Unless you're buying the property, the entire thing cash, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't walk into this place and be like, "Oh, I got $1 million right here
And
cash."
guess
You
what?
don't. You're not that kind of girl.
Even if you had the cash, it has to be, it's something called sourced income, right? So you just can't say, okay, let's say you got an inheritance and you got 500 grand. You're like, I'm gonna go buy me a house with this $500,000 and it's just cash, right? Let's just say it was cash in your uncle's like safe or something. That income, that money needs to be put into a bank, and it has to be sitting in a bank for 30 days.
Oh.
You can't just go buy a house with cash.
Right.
It has to be sourced. So even if you did have enough to buy it, it's still a process.
Right. So we really shouldn't be buying anything
With
cash. Right.
Anything with
went
cash.
I went to the post office and I tried to get a $3,000 money order and they tried to make me sign something.
Oh,
You can't spend over.
that's another thing. That's almost like going to the bank and putting over $9,999 in the bank.
Right.
They take your social security number.
Yep.
They want your occupation. And then they take your name, your occupation, social security number, because they have to document that.
And it's going to the
And
federal
it's going
government.
to the IRS. They have to
Right.
report it to the IRS. So there is no such thing as just, and if you go to somewhere like a government agency, like a post office,
Right.
and you're using a large amount of cash,
Right.
because I think $1,000 is the most amount for a money order. So they must have their guidelines as well. So if you're spending that amount,
Well, under 3,000.
So under
You can't
3,000.
spend, like you can get one money order can be 1,000, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
you can get 3 of them
At a time.
But one of them has to be 900 and something dollars. You can't. So
Wow.
you get 1,000, and then 900 and
90
something.
right, 999
But you can't
probably.
go over the 3,000, or you're gonna have to fill out all these documents and just like you
so
said.
that's a new implementation. So that means they are now required to report people who are
Yep.
coming with cash
Yes.
over a certain amount, over $3,000.
Yes. Yes.
This is not cash is king society.
Oh, well.
This is not a cash is king society,
Look,
people.
because they teaching us, I talk about all the time about this paradigm shift that we have going on. Everything we know to be the same has changed.
Yes.
Everything we knew from
Everything.
back in the days has
What your
changed.
parents went
You
through,
have to
what your
keep
parents
up with
taught
the
you.
paradigm.
Absolutely.
Both of us,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
So I know that you've been in business for how long?
Since 2016.
Since 2016. And what have
yes.
you created over the time?
My home buyers planning journal.
Okay, let me see.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is the home buyers planning journal. I created it as a guide for home buyers. It's an excellent resource. It keeps you organized. It has, your calendar. It has every stage of the home buying process, which basically gives you an idea of what's to come, which helps you better prepare. My thing is I always tell my clients that we are a team, right? Your real estate agent is guiding you, right?
Okay.
But your attorney, your inspector, your lender, you're a team of professionals that's helping you get to the closing table quickly. But we are working together. We don't just work for you. We're working together. There's going to be many times throughout the process where you're going to be required to, submit documents, sign documents. So there's a part that you play, you have responsibility. So if you have an idea of what's to come, you can better prepare yourself. And it's also like a keepsake. So imagine as a first time home buyer, you
Yeah.
go back through it and you're like,
love the book.
right,
I love the
understanding, like remembering what that journey was like. And then when you go purchase a home again, you can, use it as somewhat of a guide,
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many times can you be a first time buyer? Can you is that like
You mean the first time home buyer, the FHA loan?
Yeah, is that so? When people say, and this is for the people that don't know, never bought a home before, or have bought a home and just not sure. So I had 3 homes.
Okay.
So I haven't owned a home in 10 years.
Yes.
So would I qualify as
Yes.
a first time buyer again?
So now, technically, obviously the term, if you're talking to someone,
Right.
you're not a first time home buyer.
Right.
I've purchased before.
Right.
But in regards to the loan itself, the FHA loan, which has the lower down payment,
Right.
3.5% down payment, you, as long as you're not in an FHA loan, you can get that loan again.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you have an FHA loan right now on a property you own, let's say you refinance out of that loan into a conventional loan, now you can purchase again in an FHA.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as the program guidelines,
it's-
as long as you're not using an FHA at that time.
Right. And as far as these grown people out here that's got their ego coming to the table with their ego and their feelings and everything, we don't care if you own 10 homes.
No.
If you haven't owned in a while, you can still qualify for
Yes.
first time buyers.
First time
That's what
home
she's
buyers,
saying.
exactly.
It ain't got nothing to do with your ego or your feelings.
Please know that. It's being sold on Amazon.
Absolutely. We're gonna definitely put that at the end.
Okay, perfect,
At the end,
perfect.
so people can purchase
Yes,
this
yes,
book.
yes, yes.
So it's like, okay, so now I'm about to be 52 years old, right?
Okay.
So I haven't owned in over 10 years. And I am in the market again to purchase another home. First, I gotta tell you this little story about
Okay.
it.
Oh boy, I know one of your stories. I know your stories go.
So I was dating this guy, and I asked him about his 5 year plan and my
Okay.
5 year plan. I said, well, I would love to have a condo on the water. I don't mind traveling for work. It doesn't have to be in New York. It could be somewhere else or whatever. I was like, so, what's your credit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's your credit
You're
score?
looking at
If we're
doing this
trying to do
together.
something
We doing this thing together. Yeah, yeah,
5 years
yeah.
is not a lot of time. We 50
Not at
something
all.
odd years
Not
old.
at all.
So that's not a lot of time. So I'm like in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe we could, do something.
Yep.
So he goes, well, I've never, I don't check my credit. I never checked my credit before. I never,
Wow.
I don't. And I
At
said,
what
you never
age?
checked it? 60. You never checked it? He said, no, I never checked it. And I said, well, you should check it. You should check it and see what's going on in there. It could be like little stuff like, people have Con Edison, phone bills, like little stuff,
And not just that, sometimes this thing's
little
incorrect.
stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay. So he agreed to go and check his credit. So he said, first of all, I don't live my life by credit. I live my life by faith.
Okay. What a way to, reroute the conversation.
I said,
You knew
okay.
something was coming after that.
I said, this is going to be this is gonna be interesting. So he
knew
lived
it
his
was
life.
gonna
I
be
live my
interesting.
life by faith too, but I can't go downstairs and tell them people that I ain't got
Good
my
and
money
faithful child.
because faith told me that she was going to come
That
and
it
pay
was gonna be okay.
Faith ain't come. Faith ain't come. So he checked the credit. The credit was in the 500s. So I asked him, I said, how is this working for you? Because I just always thought about at this big age,
Yeah.
that credit was very important. And we know that we shouldn't be
Absolutely.
maxing out our credit cards. We know we can only spend
Absolutely.
30% of what they're giving you. I don't care if they give you
Absolutely.
20,000, 40,000. Don't spend over 30% because it's going to look bad on your credit. So that's what I know. Is that true, right?
You can spend over 30, but make sure that by the end of the closing date,
time,
you have paid
you
back.
have paid
you
back.
paid it down to at least 30.
To at least 30.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, cool. So I told him that what are we going to be able to do together?
With the 516.
Because my credit score is in the 700s and his is in the 500s. So that's not,
Not on
No.
the same, yeah, we're not on the same page at all.
and you don't really have no money. You don't have enough money because if you had some money when you called the people, you would have just pay everything they
Exactly.
told you to
Exactly.
say to get yourself on track to be able
Exactly.
to do what you need to do. I said, so you don't have no credit and you don't have no money. I said, so what are we going to do?
Then what was his
Here.
answer?
He was like, well, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it. But I'm just thinking like this, right? At the big age of 50 something, 60 something, right? And you still saying in your head that you don't live your life by credit, you live your life by faith. I get it. God's going to bring us a whole lot of stuff, but
That's just a
faith without
cop-out,
work
though.
is dead.
Like, that's
though.
just a cop out. That's
It
like
is a
saying,
cop-out.
let me sit on the couch forever and I don't have to
Yeah.
work. The bills are going to get paid at some point. Like, that's just a cop out.
I
Come on
honestly
now.
think that he really didn't know.
No, that's exactly what he
I
used as a
really
scapegoat. That was a
think
scapegoat.
That he just really didn't know. And
was a
he
complete
said that he
scapegoat.
appreciated the information. He said he appreciated the information and he's looking into things and he's working things out. Because he even went as far as to go to see a real estate. I went to see a couple places.
Okay.
And the people told him the exact same
What you
thing
told
that
him.
I said, that you have to work on his credit report. And you also have to work on your down payment. And the money has to be sitting in there just like you said.
Yes. Sourced
It
money.
has to be sitting
30
in there.
days or more.
You cannot, if you borrow money, you got to say who, if somebody gave you money, you got to say who
They have to
gave
fill
it
out a
to.
gift. They have to fill out a gift
Right?
form, yes. And
All
so
of
how
those
much they,
things. All of those things. So it was definitely a turnoff for me.
I would believe any professional woman who has their finances together,
Right.
that would be a turnoff at 60 years old, because not only does that show that he didn't know, but no one in his life.
No.
Who has he at 60 years old? Who has he been involved with? What is his peer group like? What is his friends, and what are the conversations that they're having that he was unaware?
Men don't talk to each other. Men do not talk to each other
But he
about
also didn't
anything.
seek, and he didn't even
No,
also
he did.
seek.
Right.
So that's
right.
that.
But I
that's,
learned that too.
Yeah, yeah.
That men don't talk to each other about stuff. Like they could be having difficulty and different things
And they don't
going
share.
on. No,
Yeah, they don't share those
not like
experiences.
how we do.
Yeah.
Like we'll come be like, babe, sis, come over and let's talk
Let's
about
talk about
having
this.
this thing. Oh, this thing is going on. Or what you
Yeah.
think about this? Have you ever had a guy ask you this?
Let's have a
you
business
ever had a guy
powwow. Let's
ask
have
you
a this.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have definitely had that.
Yeah.
Men don't do that. They only talk about the game. They only talk about work, how much
Wow.
money they making, what kind of house they buying, what's the hottest car. They don't talk. They don't have any
That's
of
such a disadvantage,
the
though.
hard
Yeah,
situation,
yeah.
the hard questions. They don't ask each other.
Yeah, what's really going on behind the
how
scenes,
you
yeah.
doing to us? Me, how you doing?
How you really doing?
How you really doing?
Yeah, outside
like,
of the,
girl, it's like, how you doing? You like, girl,
That's exactly.
I
Let me
am-
grab this. Let me tell you what
Girl,
happened
let me tell
because
you what
shit,
happened,
girl. Let me tell you what happened because he said.
but that's how we do, and guys don't do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're doing themselves a total disservice, not bringing those hard
Sharing
questions,
information is
yes,
important
to the
at every
table.
level. At every level.
To the table.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so at this big age of mine, right? My kids are gone. I'm an empty nester now, and I'm really looking to buy something else.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm coming to you, now
Yes.
in my life, my credit is in the 700s. You're gonna because you care about that because you don't want to
Absolutely.
be.
I want my clients to have healthy credit. I'm not an advocate of, as long as it's
You
not 80,
wasting
we
my
can figure
time.
it out. No.
You waste my time.
All right, exactly.
So my credit score is in the 700s. My savings is not where I need it to be. However, I am definitely willing to pull back on a lot of things
Okay.
to get the credit.
Okay.
Get the down
savings,
payment. Right.
what you need to-
So what are those steps that are you telling people that are at a big age that feel like home ownership is not available for them?
Attainable. Well, like you said, it's someone in your situation, right? You have good credit. You're in a good standing, right? So your issue is really just the down payment, right? So that's just a matter of strategic planning.
Okay.
It's not going to take you. You have a viable business. You have the availability to save the money. It's not like you're not working. So that would present a different challenge.
Right.
Now that you in the position that you are, that's not a hard thing, right? So we just have the strategic plan. So someone like you, my approach would be a little bit different. Listen. We don't have as much time, depending on what your goals are, right? But because you're in a position to do the things, let's just plan strategically. It's all about preparation. Preparation always, in any situation. But I think it's mostly just strategic planning. So we would, if you don't have a financial planner or you don't have someone that you can talk to, I would either set you up with someone or I would do it and just figure out what our process looks like in terms of time, right? So in 3 months, where can we be in terms of down payment?
Right.
Or do you have other forms that you can take from? Do you have a 401k? Do you have your IRA? Because it's not just the money in the bank, right? It's also, you can use your retirement plan, you can use other forms of assets. If you own other property, you can use brokerage accounts.
How do you feel about that, though? How do you
What?
feel about? Because I do have an IRA.
Okay.
And I also have a health insurance a life insurance policy that has some cash value.
Okay.
So how do you feel about taking money out of at my age to purchase
homes? Okay. What my thing is that these vehicles are put in place for you to use for that purpose, right?
Okay.
Especially whole life insurance, right? It has cash value. This is something that you can use for purchase. You borrow from it and then you put back, As long as you have the vehicle to be able to do that,
Okay.
A viable business, a job, then why not use it? This is something that's been put in place. You're purchasing an asset that's indefinitely going to appreciate, right? So you're not pulling out money to go on a trip. You're pulling out money to buy an asset. So if anything, you're securing the money. You see what I mean? So I don't look at it like that, like, oh, it's retirement fund, so I'm pulling from it. You're pulling from it to buy an asset that's going to most likely appreciate, that's going to solidify, and it's going to just basically diversify your retirement, your retirement availability, your retirement income, So I'm not a believer of that. Use the vehicle for what it's for,
I think in this stage in my life right now, and the reason why I'm just back and forth, because we have this conversation
Yes,
all the time, back and forth about what I'm gonna buy, what I'm not gonna buy, and it's because I hear so many different things. Should I buy something that's just gonna sit there? Should I buy like a multi-family home where I'm actually living on one floor and
Yes.
other people are living on another floor, so I can have some kind of residual
Residual
income.
income.
I'm just so confused about it. And, Airbnb is doing what it's doing. Airbnb
Doing well
people
as
are
well.
not able to use
Depending on location.
Airbnbs
Depending
like
on
they've
location.
been. So I'm just so confused. I want to make the right decision. I feel like now I'm paying a lot of money in rent, and that I could be buying
Yeah, I
something
agree,
right now.
I
And I
agree.
don't want to be, 65 paying $3,000-$4,000
Yeah.
in mortgage. I don't.
Agree.
In rent.
In
I
rent,
want to
yeah.
own it already. So I got like a good, strong 15, 20 years. I'm talking
Left.
about summers.
Right.
Summers. I got about
You wanna
good
retire.
15, 20 summers on this earth, I feel like. Because the average person lives to be, 79, 80 years old.
I mean, that's a smart way to look at
Right.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to say a good 15, 20, I exercise every day. I try to eat right. I drink lots of wine.
Which keeps me lively. That helps my livelihood.
All
Yes.
all
the
those things.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's just, I just want to make
Right
a
decision.
good, solid decision, and I'm really
Everybody's
confused
path
about
is
that.
different, right? So as long as you're investing your money for some sort of return.
Right.
Now, obviously, age makes a difference. So, like if you're buying stocks, your financial planner is going to tell you, depending on your age, your risk factor, right? You don't want to invest as aggressively because you're older. In your 20s and your 30s, you can invest very aggressively because you have time to lose money, gain it back, right? So it really just depends on your plan. Now, house hacking is what we call when you buy a multifamily and you live in one unit and you rent the others out. Now, at a big age, that may not be the best, may not be what you want, right? Because you have tenants, you're living in a home, and there are other tenants in the home with you.
Right.
But if you are willing to make that sacrifice, that can be a path for you.
Okay.
My main thing when I am, having a consultation with the client is what are your needs, what are your wants, and what are you comfortable with? And we're gonna make a plan. We're gonna put together a plan based on that, right? Based on that flexibility you have, based on maybe you're an empty nester and maybe you're single and
Right.
you don't want to be.
I'm single and I'm an empty nester.
Right. So, right. So maybe in that case, you're going to have, you would want a multifamily, but maybe you don't want any male tenants because that's a little
Right.
bit more, risky. So
Right.
it all depends on, location. All of these things are factors. That's why for me, the consultation, when you're having your consultation with the client, that's the most important part, right? Because I'm gaining all this information and I'm going to use that to put together a plan that works for you. We're going to discuss it and we're going to figure out what you're comfortable with.
Right.
But to me, as long as you can purchase a single family home and do rentals that way. Rent a single family home in another state. It all depends on your comfortability.
Right.
So
well, I know that I don't want to be house poor. I don't want to be house
exactly.
poor. And the last time I checked, pulled it. I think we pulled it. I was
Your
approved for
credit.
like 600. No,
Yes.
I was
yeah.
a $600,000
pre-approval.
home. Right. I was approved. Right. I don't want to necessarily live in a $600,000 home because I really want to live below my means. I don't want to be.
You don't want to be house rich and cash
struggling.
poor.
I don't.
House rich and cash poor.
I don't. Talk to us about that.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are house rich and cash
poor.
poor.
Just trying to, that's another thing. It's like this rush, right? The same thing I would tell the 20-year-old, especially you have time, right? This rush to be, you do want to make the right investment, but you don't want to be brash in your decision, right? Because it's important you make your money on the buy. This is what we say in our industry. So what that means is that when you purchase your home, the price that you pay, when you run the numbers based on the market, based on the other the value of other homes that are sold in that area, you're making your money on the buy. So if you've come into that purchase with equity, you're on the right side of things, right? You don't want to be
upside down in it.
You definitely don't want to be upside down. You don't want to be purchasing a home where you're paying top dollar and other homes in the area sold for a little less maybe, or just right at that number because you're coming in already strapped, right? And then you want to make sure that you have the cash. You want to make sure that you have you own the home, but then you're also able to maintain the home. You don't want to buy this $600,000 home and then you get into the home, you have no reserves. So when something happens with the boiler, you're like, oh, who, there's no you can't call
Nope.
John. There's no John to call. It's all on you, So that's most important. That's another thing, reserves.
Right.
That I'm getting all this information in this consultation. What is your monthly budget for a home? All of that is important. You don't want to buy a home and then you're completely like looking at friends and family to help
And
you
the
pay
lights
for
ain't
the.
on, and nothing is working.
That's
in
most
there,
important.
and
You
all the
don't want to, just
things.
because the lender said you can afford a $600,000
Yeah.
home doesn't
Don't
mean you
mean
should buy the
a $600.
Exactly.
And when you say upside down, I've been upside down in several vehicles. So when she say upside down, that means owing more for the house than the house is worth.
Absolutely.
And I've been that way almost all my life till the past 3 or 4 years.
And that can happen in a down market, That can happen where, we're just at a time, because the market goes up and down. The market
Right.
shifts, right? So you can purchase a $600,000 home and that area just depreciates.
Right.
So now your home is worth only $550,000. So now you're upside down on you're upside down on the loan. So now you have to own a little longer. You have
Right.
to keep that, you have to have that ownership a little longer. Maybe you had a plan where you're like, okay, I was going to buy this and I'm going to sell in 5 years, and maybe your plan has to change because
Right.
that appreciation didn't happen. So that's also important. The area you purchase in, your real estate agent really has to guide you. It's
Right.
not just about, find me a house.
Right.
Your plan is important, your age, but based on what your goals, all of that is very important. So you want someone that has that care for you, has that care about what the end goal, not just the transaction. Let me just sell you the house, right? That's important. What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? What is your 10, 15 year? Do you want to live there do you want to sell? Is investment, is, appreciation more important? Do you want to have some sort of residual income? What's more important to you? So
Right.
all of these things help you mitigate being in a situation like that, where now you're upside down, or you're trying to figure out, did I make the right decision? Or maybe I should have purchased the investment property.
Right.
I'm an empty nester. What do I need this big house for?
Right.
I would never tell an empty nester to buy a 4-bedroom home. For
Right.
what?
For what?
For what?
For what? For what? I want a 2-bedroom, and I want my other room to be a
Closet.
closet.
This is what I'm saying.
I would love to have a den. I want to see some water. Like, I know exactly
You
what
want
I
to be
want.
right on that.
I want to see some, and I don't have to be able to get in the water. It could be a lake.
It could be a lake, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm fine with
You
that.
just want the calmness.
Yes.
The serenity.
I want the
Yes.
calmness of it.
The serenity.
And this whole, I want workcation. That's what I want.
okay,
I want workation. I
okay.
want to can work, but I'm also on vacation at the same time.
You're merging the two. You don't
all
have to go
the
on
time.
vacation
No.
to get.
No. I want to be
Exactly.
there. That's my life all the
the
time.
time.
Not just some of the time.
Love it. Love
Not
it.
just
Love
some
it.
of the time.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, this was good.
Yes,
this was really,
yes,
really
yes,
good,
yes,
Talia.
yes,
You're
yes.
very knowledgeable. I
Thank
remember
you.
when you was
Thank
just
you.
getting your real estate
When I was just putting it
license.
together, girl.
Yeah,
Now I got it together.
All this, I know, but all this information
I
and all
appreciate
this. I
that.
love,
I appreciate that.
love
I appreciate
seeing
that.
this.
I
And
appreciate that.
sometimes I'm just like, Ro, you're really getting up there. Like, you seeing all these kids. I call y'all my
no.
all
Go
these
through their
kids are
transition and go
growing,
through their stages. Yeah,
and
yeah.
doing all that stuff. Like, I really, really love this. I really love
thank
this.
you. I
And I also
appreciate that.
like that you're hands-on with your people.
Yes, very much
Hands-on
so.
with your people, even with the journal.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
everything is always something for them to go back to. I know you allow them to
keepsake.
come back and ask more
Absolutely.
questions, and when things
I think
evolve.
that the relationship that you build with your clients is important, right? Because in this business, you have to create repeat business, repeat business. The business is in the repeat business, in the sales business. If you don't have people referring you, people coming back to you, people, having that value, then that one-off transaction gets you nowhere. You want to build that relationship where they're sending you, their grandmother, their mother, their
Everybody.
cousins, and not just that. When I'm done with the transaction, I send an email to my clients. Let me know how I can help. I give them, here's some numbers that you may need. Here's a plumber, here's an electrician. Let me know. Here's a landscaper. Let me know what else what else you may need. I have a wide network of professionals that can help you for that.
Right.
So now I'm a resource for them. Let me call Talia. I'm not maybe looking for a house, but I remember she told me she has a guy
Yes,
that
exactly.
you want to remain top of mind with people, right? You want to be that go-to, and that is something that I've always been, paramount in building, being a resource for people, regardless. Anyone that knows me is like, I'm gonna ask Talia.
Oh, I love it.
Right? I'm
love
gonna ask
it.
Talia. I know she may know. If I don't know, I can get you to I can point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And that's important, right?
Well, I want to buy a house from you because I want the gift.
That's another thing. I mean,
want the gift
I
for the signing.
want to remain top of mind, so you're gonna get all the gifts, all the good gifts, honey, all the good gifts. Not you want to buy a house for the
Yeah,
gift.
just to get the gift.
Just to get the gift.
Just
That's
to get the
funny.
gift.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I wanted to share, and this may be something that you may want to share with your clients
Yes.
or the people who work in your firm.
Uh-huh.
I was reading this book called From Paycheck to Purpose. That's the name of the book.
Ooh, I
It's
like
by
that.
Ken Coleman. Mm-hmm. And what he said was, he said, we know how to be down and look up.
Uh-huh.
We know how to be up and look down.
Mm-hmm.
But have we really mastered how to be up and look out?
Ooh, I like that.
I love it.
Love
It
that
just
concept,
gave
that
me,
perspective. Chills.
yes,
Yeah.
because the concept of being down, you already know you're gonna
You
look
want to go,
up,
you
and
want
when
to
you're
go up from
up,
there.
you just automatically look
Look down.
down.
Oh, I remember
But do
being
we
there, or
look out and
from where
see
we
what
are.
else we can share? How many more people we can pull up? What else we can learn?
Or value, what, on my leaving my level.
Yeah.
What value can I provide? How can we work together?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think of when I hear how can we look outward?
Right.
How can I look at someone who's doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
or, in a similar field, or we're just on the same, in the same mind, have the same mindset. How can we come together and help each other?
Right.
So that's kind of what that's an interesting perspective. I like that.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
loved
use
it when
that.
I thought about it. I
Yeah,
said,
I'm gonna
I
use
gotta
that.
write that down. I gotta
put
write
that on
that down.
my status. on Instagram.
Yeah. So,
How can
anything
we
else you
look
want to
outward?
share with the
Just the
young
book.
people and the older people? Because it may be two different things, or is it the same thing?
Have your income if you're self-employed, have your income documented. It's very important to have your documents organized. So that's going to be bank statements. This is specifically for self-employed people. With W-2 workers, it's a little bit easier because you have your pay stubs, you give your bank statement, and that's pretty much it, right? But when you're self-employed, there are a lot more documents that you have to provide. Lenders like to see consistency, and they look at non-traditional income as more risky than traditional income, right? So another way to mitigate that is to have high credit, keep your credit score high, and low debt, right? Because if they're already looking at you as a risky buyer, then you having high credit and low debt mitigates that risk. Organizing your documents, your bank statements, like in the case of the 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Bank statements to show income, consistency of income. You want to, in leading up to that purchase, you want to make sure you're working as consistent as possible.
Right.
So bank statements, profit and loss statements, invoices, deposits, gather all of that and be organized. Also, do not, open your options. Non-qualifying mortgages, that's a different type of mortgage. Those are loans where they're called entrepreneur loans. Where they're going to be using your bank statements and not your tax returns.
Oh.
And they're just looking at your
So
deposits.
that's a thing now.
That's a thing. That's a thing. Now,
Because I remember me back in the days, I went no income verification.
that's what it is. So we,
That
they've
But that was the worst thing. That was the worst
Oh no!
thing.
You're talking about before 2008.
No income verification.
This is what happened with the
Where
bus. This is
I
the
bought a
problem.
house I couldn't afford.
This is what
didn't
happened in the
care.
bus.
They didn't care.
This is what happened in 2008 with the bus. They were giving mortgages to people that could not afford the homes, and then people, you got caught up in that.
Me.
That's what happened with the mortgage
She is
bust.
me.
And now that's the reason why the getting a loan is so much strict now.
Right.
So much more strict because of that. They were giving out these loans that people could not afford. They weren't verifying income. You could buy a house with just, anything.
$5. You didn't have to
$5. You didn't have to show anything.
Exactly. It was a big down payment.
Huge down
And a
payment.
huge interest rate.
And that's it. But they weren't
No.
looking to see if you could
They
actually
wasn't
afford
looking.
that home.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
They didn't care.
But now we do have mortgages called non-qualifying. They're going to use your bank statement. Now your interest rate is going to be higher because you're looked at as a risky buyer. Right. But the barrier to entry is high, but it gets you in, and you can always refinance out of that that interest rate. It gets you in. So that, and remember I mentioned the co-buyer,
right.
Having a co-buyer. Your family, talking
right.
to people. There is something called a non-occupying borrower. So they're not going to live in the home. In this form that they sign, they're not living in the home, but they're on the loan application as a borrower. So that's a thing too. So open your options. So people have, family members that are willing to help, friends and family that are willing to help. So, open up your options to that. So that's what I would say. Those 4 key points: consistency in income, organizing your documents, making sure your credit is high. If you're self-employed, credit is high, debt is low, so that you can mitigate that risk, and then being open to other options like non-qualifying mortgages and adding a co-buyer.
I
So
love
those are
it.
most important for
I
me
love it.
for self-employed.
I love it. I love
Yes,
it. This
yes,
was
yes.
so nice talking to you, Talia.
Oh,
Like
thank
super,
you.
super nice.
Thank
But
you. It
one thing I
was.
want to add,
Okay.
don't buy nothing when you're trying to close on a loan.
Oh,
It'll knock you out the box.
we didn't even get to that.
Yeah,
I
don't.
warn my clients, do not purchase. Once we are in the process of purchasing a home, we are not adding another credit card.
No.
We're not buying that car that you
No.
want.
No furniture.
Nothing. We are not adding any
iPhone.
debt.
Add the iPhone to your AT&T bill. Don't buy
Nothing.
nothing.
We are not adding any debt, okay? You are
I
going to
know
blow
so
up the...
many people that have lost their
No,
loans. And
you kill the
that messed up.
deal.
You
You
kill
can
the
kill the
deal. It's
deal.
over. It's over.
I mean,
It's
we're literally
done.
gonna pull our hair out. You're killing the deal.
Yes, it's
Yes.
over. It's over. So don't buy nothing when you're trying to purchase a
At
home.
all. At all. But do buy my home buyers planning
Yes.
journal on Amazon. On
You can buy
Amazon.
it with your points. That's
And you can buy it with
another
your
show. That's another show.
Oh, we
That's
gonna teach you. Oh, you gotta have me on that show, girl, because you know we are.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know I know all about them points. I'll
Yes.
teach you how to use them credit card points.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you
Thank you
you
for
for
having me.
participating and
Thank you
being
for
here
having
with
me.
me. This has been Beauty, Business, and Banking. Till next
Got
time.
you. Bye.